Hello, divine beings. It's D Apology, they, them pronouns. Welcome to another The Other Side podcast episode. And this is going to be a spiritual science session. As always, I'm going to open up the space. I'm setting the intention that I'm a clear, pure channel of the highest love, the highest light, the highest truth, for the highest good of the collective today, that as those who exist in energetic space with me may receive clarity, guidance, transformative energies, healing energy, all in alignment with their incarnation and the path that they are walking. I am channeling pure source energy, and so all those who wish to receive this energy say yes in your heart. If at any time and point you choose not to receive, you are always in choice and you can say no. Ooh. Thank you, spiritual team, for helping me remain in energetic integrity and sovereignty as I channel Ise. So I wanted to talk about anger. The beauty of anger. Now, everything is of source, and everything has a purpose in this universe, if we are able to see it from a perspective that is beneficial to us. Now, anger I like to call a secondary emotion. It's an emotion that typically has something underneath. It's covering another emotion that one may feel uncomfortable or unsafe or unfamiliar with expressing. Anger can be a cover for feelings of vulnerability, feelings of hurt and pain, feelings of feeling unsafe, feelings of being wrong. It's often a signal that an injustice has been done. In our society, anger is very often more acceptable to express than the other emotional states that I've mentioned, which many connotate as weak or unacceptable, especially if you are someone who is more in your masculine energy and embodies more of the masculine than the feminine energies within you in your incarnation. Anger for me was something that I thought I didn't experience because I had grown up in an environment where I wasn't allowed to experience. I wasn't given the space to experience. You ever heard the term, if you want something to cry, I'll give you something to cry about. Well, I had to experience the equivalent of that, but in Igbo terms, the Nigerian version of it. And so I learned as a child to swallow my anger, to swallow the feelings of injustice, to compartmentalize it. And so I thought for a very long time I did not experience anger. But what was happening was that I wasn't allowing myself to experience, to such a point that it was during my time drinking ayahuasca in 2017 where I was told by what I would term now a medical intuitive, that I needed to address the anger, that my liver was saturated because I was holding on at that time to anger instead of allowing myself to feel it. And so I was pushing away the anger that was coming up instead of resolving it within myself and thus letting it go. And so it was building up in my liver. And so let's talk about the liver real quick. Your liver is known to assist your body in detoxifying from chemicals, from supporting your immune system. It is thought of as the chemical plant of your body to help it get rid of chemicals that are not beneficial to you, creating something called bile. Now, from an energetic perspective, it does the same. Your liver helps you process emotions that are toxic to your body. And when you are not able to fully process it, it becomes stored in your liver. It can become stored, There are other places it can become stored as well. And so your liver also is energetically responsible for the processing of these lower density energies that flow through us. Everything physical has an energetic and spiritual counterpart and component. And so if you are experiencing a lot of anger and you're not able or have not created the space to allow yourself to feel it and process it in a healthy emotional way, you can have liver issues. And so that was something that I was experiencing, as well as like indigestion issues. These were mostly energetic problems, the causes of a lot of the physical illnesses I was experiencing, whether it be my kidney, my livers, my digestion. It was because of the energetic buildup, the energetic blockages that had been created because of the inability to express or give space to the truth of my experience, that I was angry about it, about how I was treated, how I was raised, and that anger was okay, and that anger signaled something deeper, a sadness of my experience. And so I had to move through the underlying causation of the anger to get to the root of it, the deep-seated sadness and the anguish that was in the background that needed to come up. But when it did, I pushed it away. I pushed it away until one time, until eventually I couldn't. And that's part of what my healing journey was about, whether it be through ayahuasca or Reiki or mindfulness meditation or energy work or energy medicine or the occult and nutrition. All of it was about learning how to get to the root of what was causing the physical. But on the surface, as it came and presented, it was anger. And so if you are angry, do know that there was nothing wrong with expressing it. And it is not healthy to hold on or to push away these feelings. Now, if you are a highly sensitive person, we are all clairsentient. Clairsentience is the spiritual psychic ability of being able to interact with energies and to receive information from energies. And oftentimes we receive them through emotions, our emotional bodies. We are predominantly water. And so if that is you, sometimes the anger isn't even yours. You're picking it up from someone else, from somewhere else. There's a lot of lower density energies that have been coming up for many. And so you have to have that discernment to discern whether it is, to determine whether it is yours or not. And now, if it is yours, it is important that you are able to be with your anger and then to dig deeper into what it is trying to tell you. That anger is there to highlight that there was a wrong being done, an injustice occurred. But it cannot stay there. Remember what I said about the liver and its processing ability and how these dense emotions, these dense energies, lower density energies, can create and wreak havoc on the physical body if they're not able to flow. Every energy is meant to be in flow. We are energy beings. And so what doesn't flow creates a buildup like a dam in which things are not able to move through. And so you create and have and experience those blockages. And so in my journey, I had to learn how to be with anger and not to vilify it as a negative emotion, but just the emotion and the series of emotions that exist within the wide breadth of our human experience and to see the value of it. That it was there to teach me that, hey, this isn't okay. This ain't right. I'm not cool with this. And then it's allowed to pass through me, to learn from it, and again, understand what it was trying to say, and then let it go. Like a wave, a river that always is in flow. And so I thought I didn't experience anger. But that necessarily wasn't the case. I wasn't giving myself the space. Because at the end of the day, it all unfolds from the root of love. That vulnerability, that pain, that hurt. It is because of love. Love that wasn't respected or treated right. Love that wasn't received. And so when we get to the very, very root, it is all coming and stemming from the need, the expression, the rejection, the reception of love. In whatever ways it may be. So let anger be your guidepost and understanding that this ain't right. And as you are pointed in that direction, you move forward into it, allowing it to dissipate and unfold into the truth, the deeper nature of why it's there. Anger is ruled by the planet of Mars, is associated with conflict, war, and also, on the light side, passion. That driving force forward. And so when we begin to allow our anger to be a fuel to drive us forward, then we can see that this is merely an energetic charge, a strong energetic charge that can be transmuted for our benefit. Often the things that make us the most angry is where we are most passionate. We just have to reframe it in a different way. The things that get us hot and bothered are the things that we care the most about, that we feel the most about. So you are invited now to be with anger. And I'm going to, because we don't want to stay there, we don't want to stay there. I'll be posting a video, podcast, blog, y'all, I don't know what to call it at this point. Podcast, YouTube, about how to move through difficult emotions. How do we move through that process, and to share my own personal process of how I've been able to see all emotions in a very neutral perspective. There is no good or bad. There's no positive or negative. There just simply is an experience. And so the question then becomes, what is this experience trying to tell me? What is this experience trying to show me? And how can I use this experience for my betterment? And so when we're moving through difficult emotions, it can be difficult to do so, especially if you get caught up in the tidal waves of emotions. And so I had to learn on my journey, emotional stability one, because growing up, I did not have that. I was very much emotionally dysregulated because of all of my experiences of not having healthy emotional regulation mirrored to me, right? Because we learn through mirroring. Children learn through mirroring. And they need, because they're learning through mirroring, they need healthy examples of emotional regulation. And when that is absent, the child learns how to regulate themselves in the way that they can. And so I want you to sit with that and maybe go and reflect on the ways in which you learn to regulate your anger and the ways in which it shows up. If you are not used to allowing yourself to feel it, to give yourself permission to feel your feelings, then this is something that you're going to have to practice. I once had a client talked about their anger. They said that they were afraid that their anger would get the best of them because as a child they didn't know how to deal with it. And I said, okay, that sounds like some inner child work we got to do. And so learning how to feel that anger into positive ways. The gym, the gym is always a good way if that's your jam. You know, work it out, work it out. Because in my childhood, I didn't have access to that. And so I learned to implode. I learned to feel that anger towards myself. To castigate myself. Because I wasn't allowed to express it, so it became expressed towards self. And so I had to learn how to forgive myself and be gentle with myself. And not be so hard on myself and punish myself for things that were just so human to experience and to feel, even if they were considered by their very nature in our society bad or negative. Even if they were lower density, you know, we're on this spiritual journey, y'all. Constantly evolving our consciousness and growing as beings, and spiritual journey can often, and those in the spiritual community, in the wider spiritual community, can often say, well, that's lower density, that's lower vibes. We don't experience those over here, okay? Only high vibes. And yes. And until you get to the point where you have so filtered and purified yourself of all these lower density energies and you're healed fully, and you know, there are phases. And it's okay to experience the lower density energies, the lower vibrations, if you know how to move through them and use them. And so I'm giving you an invitation to use anger in a way that can allow you to grow. So what is not expressed stays repressed and becomes an issue. if that's the truth. All right, y'all. You are a being of light. And you are also incarnated in other places and spaces where you might be a being of dark. You might have within you aspects of your ego that are of a darker nature. And so this is merely an invitation to be more curious about your experience. Of anger and how it shows up in your life, knowing that every energy and spirit is a teacher. And then because everything is rooted in love, coming back to center, coming back to your heart. Ooh. Coming back to your heart. And meeting that with love. Softening to love. And so with that, I'm going to be calling in the natural energy consciousness of unconditional love. Peace, compassion, forgiveness. Some of you are feeling shame in the ways in which you've acted out in anger. Remember, you are a human vessel embodied by a soul connected to spirit who came here to learn how to human. How to be in this physical form and to experience the duality of humanity, the duality of the three dimension, knowing that there are going to be times where you did not get it right. And so offer yourself that grace. Fail better. That's a phrase I recently got from this book. We fail and we fail and we fail, but we fail better. We fail forward until we're able to succeed. All right? Beautiful. Closing out that energy transmission of unconditional love, peace, compassion, and self-forgiveness. Wherever, whenever you are, take deep care of yourself. I don't take it for granted, and you shouldn't take yourself for granted for showing up. I love you. Go and